Picture this. You're standing at the checkout, online, 11 p.m., kids are in bed, house is quiet. You've got something in your cart. Maybe it's a new pair of boots, maybe it's a piece of furniture, maybe it's something you've been eyeing for months. And right there, at the bottom of the screen, before you hit pay, there's this little button. It says something like Pay in 4. 0 interest. No fees. And something in your brain goes, yeah, that makes sense. 4 easy payments. Spread it out. You won't even feel it. It's not debt, it's just convenient. I get it. I really do. Because I've been that person. And honestly, most people I know have been that person at some point. But here's what nobody talks about: what that little button is actually doing to your finances, your stress levels, and the way you relate to money over the long term. Today I want to have an honest conversation about buy now, pay later. Not to lecture you, not to scare you, but because I think this is one of those products that sounds genuinely helpful on the surface and quietly causes a lot of damage underneath. I'm Finn, this is Finley Invests, and let's get into it. So here's the thing. When most people think about financial danger, they picture massive credit card debt, or predatory payday lenders, or dodgy schemes that smell off from a mile away. They picture something obviously bad. Buy now, pay later doesn't look like that at all. It looks clean. It looks modern. It's built into the most trusted shopping platforms in the world. The branding is sleek. The language is friendly. And the pitch is genuinely compelling, especially when money feels tight. And that's exactly the problem. See, most of the financial products that hurt people the most aren't the ones that look scary. They're the ones that look like they're doing you a favor. They come dressed as tools for people who are being smart with money, not reckless with it. The narrative around buy now, pay later is, you're not blowing your budget. You're managing your cash flow. You're being strategic. And a lot of people, smart, thoughtful people, genuinely believe that framing. Because it sounds logical. But there's a gap between the story we're sold and what's actually happening in our bank account. And more importantly, in our heads. Let me walk you through what buy now, pay later actually is, how it works, and why the psychology behind it is so effective. At its core, BNPL is a short-term credit product. A company, think Afterpay, Zip, Klarna, Laybuy, and a dozen others, pays the retailer upfront on your behalf. You then repay them, usually in 4 installments over 6 to 8 weeks. Most of them advertise 0 interest if you pay on time. That sounds fine. That sounds responsible, even. But let's slow down and think about a few things. First, the business model. These companies are not charities. They make money. The retailer pays them a fee, typically somewhere between 3 and 7% of the transaction value. That's actually more than most credit card fees. So the retailer is paying a premium to have BNPL at checkout. Why? Because it's been proven, consistently, that having a BNPL option increases the average order value. People buy more. They buy more often. They buy things they probably wouldn't have bought otherwise. That's not a theory. That's the whole business case. So right from the start, this product is designed to make you spend more. Not to help you spend smarter. Those are very different things. Now here's where the psychology gets really interesting. There's a well-documented concept in behavioral economics called payment decoupling. What it means is this. The more distance there is between the moment you enjoy something and the moment you feel the financial pain of paying for it, the less emotional resistance you have to spending. When you hand over cash at a register, the pain is immediate. You feel it. Your brain registers the loss right then and there. With a credit card, there's some distance. You'll feel it at the end of the month. But with BNPL, that pain is cut into 4 small pieces and spread across 2 months. By the time the last installment comes out, you've already worn the boots 12 times. The emotional connection between enjoyment and cost has almost completely faded. And our brains are terrible at tracking that. We're just not wired for it. There's also something called the zero psychological effect. Studies consistently show that humans respond disproportionately strongly to anything labeled as free or zero. Zero interest doesn't just sound neutral, it sounds like a win. Your brain categorizes it as, this is not costing me extra, and that dramatically lowers your guard. But here's what compounds the problem in real life. Most people aren't running one BNPL plan at a time. They're running 3, 4, 5. Maybe more. A pair of shoes here. A gym set there. Some homewares you needed or thought you needed. Each one individually feels manageable. 4 payments of $40. Fine, I can handle that. But when you add them all up, when you actually sit down and count every automatic deduction scheduled across the next 6 weeks, the number is often shocking. Not because any single purchase was huge, but because they're all happening simultaneously, invisibly, in the background. And that's the part that starts to create real financial stress. Not the obvious kind where you've obviously overextended yourself. The quiet kind. The kind where you look at your bank account midweek and wonder where all the money went. The kind where you feel like you're earning a decent income but still living fortnight to fortnight and can't quite figure out why. That feeling, for a lot of people, is BNPL working exactly as designed. There's another layer here too, and this one doesn't get talked about enough. Most BNPL services don't report to the major credit bureaus when you're making payments on time. But many of them do report when you miss a payment or default. So you're getting none of the credit building upside and all of the downside risk. And as these platforms have matured, some of them have moved into longer-term lending products, actual interest-bearing loans, that absolutely do affect your credit file and your borrowing capacity. If you're thinking about a home loan or refinancing in the next couple of years, BNPL activity on your bank statements can and does affect how a lender assesses you. Not because you're irresponsible. Just because they see regular automated debits going out to multiple platforms and they read that as someone who is carrying a level of committed spending they can't fully see. And I want to be clear here. I'm not saying everyone who uses BNPL is in crisis. Plenty of people use it occasionally and it works fine for them. But I think the problem is that most people don't have a full picture of how it's affecting their financial life, because the product is specifically designed to keep that picture blurry. So here's the shift I want to invite you into. For most of my adult life, I thought about financial products in terms of, does this cost me money? Is there interest? Is there a fee? And if the answer was no or not yet, I figured it was fine. But there's a better question. And it took me a while to get here. The better question is, does this product make me more likely to spend money I wouldn't have otherwise spent? Does it create financial commitments in my life that I didn't consciously choose? Because the cost of a financial product isn't always measured in interest rate. Sometimes it's measured in the decisions it quietly makes for you. There's a real difference between using credit intentionally, saying, I've thought this through, I want this thing, I have a plan to pay for it, versus having a payment product that's engineered to lower your resistance at the moment of purchase and spread the consequences far enough into the future that your brain doesn't treat them as real. That difference matters. Not from a moral standpoint. Not because buying things is bad. But because your financial life is really just the sum of thousands of small decisions made over time. And anything that's nudging those decisions in a direction that serves someone else's business model more than your own financial goals is worth paying close attention to. The shift isn't about becoming ultra-frugal or swearing off convenience. It's about becoming the one in charge of the decision, not the checkout page. So what does this actually look like in practice? The first thing I'd suggest, and this is simple, but most people haven't done it, is to go into every BNPL platform you've used in the last year and actually look at your history. See the total. See how often you used it. See what you bought. That data is available to you, and looking at it clearly, without judgment, is genuinely useful. A lot of people are surprised by what they find. The second thing is to create what I call a committed spending map. Just for 1 month. Write down every fixed payment going out of your account: rent, subscriptions, phone bill, insurance, and include every BNPL installment. See the full number. Most people have never done this properly because BNPL doesn't sit neatly in the debt category in their mind. Once you see the real committed outflows, you can make more conscious decisions about what new spending you're actually able to take on. Third, and this is a bit of a mindset thing, try applying what I call the full price first rule before using BNPL. Ask yourself, if this product only accepted full payment right now, would I still buy this? If the answer is yes, and you can afford it, then by all means maybe use BNPL as a cash flow tool if that genuinely helps your situation. But if the honest answer is no, I'd put it back. That's the product working on you. That's the nudge. And you get to notice it now before you act on it. Finally, and I say this to people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, whenever, the habit of actually paying for things when you buy them or waiting until you can is one of the most underrated financial skills there is. Not because debt is evil, but because the discipline of living inside your actual current financial reality, rather than a slightly borrowed version of it, does something powerful to your confidence over time. Changes how you feel about money. Less anxious, more in control, and that feeling, that sense of being the one steering, is genuinely worth more than the convenience of 4 easy payments. I know money is complicated. I know life is expensive. I know sometimes you need a new washing machine and the timing is terrible, or your kid needs something and it can't wait. I'm not here to tell you that buy now pay later is something that should never exist, or that anyone who uses it is making a mistake. Life is more nuanced than that. What I am saying is that this product is not neutral. It was built by smart people with a clear business objective, to get you to spend more easily, more often. And it works. It works really well. The growth of these platforms over the last several years is proof of that. But here's what I've come to believe, having thought about money for a long time now. The financial products that are most worth your trust are the ones that make you more aware of what you're doing, not less. The ones that put you in a clearer position, not a blurrier one. The ones that are as transparent about the cost to you as they are about the convenience they offer. And if you've been using BNPL a lot, if you've been feeling that low-grade financial anxiety that you can't quite locate the source of, it might be worth having a look at whether this is part of the picture. Not with blame, just with curiosity. You're not irresponsible. You're not bad with money. You're a person living in an era where financial products are incredibly sophisticated, emotionally intelligent in the way they're designed, and backed by billions of dollars of behavioral research aimed at your spending behavior. Noticing that isn't pessimistic. It's one of the most useful things you can do. Progress over perfection. Always. If this resonated with you, hit subscribe. I talk about this kind of stuff a lot on Finley Invest. And if you've got a mate who's knee-deep in BNPL plans and wondering why the money always seems to disappear, maybe send this one their way. I'll see you in the next one.